All praises due to the Most High, family. We back with another Acres anime review. I just finished watching episode 2 of The Water Magician, and RYO is really enjoying this slow life. Now it's sped up a little bit because we went on a whole adventure in episode number 2, but this was a nice leisurely, somewhat leisurely adventure. All right, so episode opened up with RYO making his way out to the shore. He found him a little beach because he said he was feeling some fish for dinner, and he find a shipwreck and some people sprawled out unconscious. Now, he really only heard one of them kind of like groan and make some noise, and so that ended up being ABEL. And so we bring ABEL back to the crib. He wake up, he thank us for saving him, but he say that he wants to check for something back at the shipwreck. So we have breakfast, we acquaint each other with one another. We tell ABEL we're a water magician. And at first, this was a fun way to see their relationship develop in this episode, because at first it's really awkward and they're both overly polite. Right? But so we have breakfast, we introduce each other, and then we make way back to the ship because ABEL's looking for something. What was it? We don't know. But he's looking for something. And so on the way, ABEL tells us, he's like, hey, if we run into some trouble, he's like, let me take the lead. Let me take the front line as a way to return my favor to you for saving me. I can't just have you protecting me and saving me every single time, all the time. And so we learn ABEL's pretty decent with the sword, right? He take care of a lesser boar. We ran into some lizard folk. Were the lizard folk before or after we found the ship? I don't remember, but we ran into some lizard folk too. And this is where ABEL really see what RYO is not really see. RYO shows him a little bit more later in the episode, but this is where ABEL gets like his first glance at what RYO is capable of. And it was funny because ABEL was asking RYO, he's like, oh, you're a magician. Don't you need a staff to be doing your magic? And so I think we'll get more confirmation in the later episodes, I hope. But I think these are hints that's showing us that RYO is not the same type of magician that everybody else, not just because he does water and other people do other things, but on a different tier and a different power scale of these other magicians, because ABEL's thinking that RYO needs a staff to do the magic. And then he also makes comments like, oh, well, you didn't even use an incantation. And when RYO defeated some of the lizard folk, he summoned like 4 ice lances with one spell. And ABEL's thinking, well, don't you need one spell per ice lance? So I think these are hints that suggest that although the first episode, RYO was really starting from scratch and starting from zero, and we saw some development in the last episode, I think these are hints suggesting that RYO's on a different scale. Dang, and I'm just now remembering, before we had left on the trip, now I got ahead of myself, actually, because RYO ended up getting a brand new robe from his headless body of armor senpai, right? And so ABEL had made a comment earlier in the episode, like, really when he first woke up and saw RYO, he was like, dang, like he don't got no clothes. He's really just out here shirtless and in some rags. But so we make it out to the ship. Abel doesn't find what he's looking for, so Abel says, okay, well, I need to go to I think the place is called LUNE. He's like, I need to find my way to LUNE. And he asks Rio, will you accompany me on this journey? Because Rio says it's gonna be a minute. So this is when Rio gets his new drip. And it's pretty fire. Because he say, well, before we go on this trip, I gotta say my goodbyes to somebody. And he get in one last training session, one last sparring session with this headless body of armor. And at first it looked disappointed in this training session, but then he gifted Rio with new drip. So I guess that was a sign that not disappointed. Now, on this journey to LUNE, we run into all types of monsters, family. At first, we run into some rock golems. And Rio really just... Abel's skill really didn't do much to these rock golems. But Rio hit them with giant ice blocks. It made me think of these the Womp Womps from the Mario games. Like these big old blocks that just... Rio just dropped a bunch of them on the rock golems. And we find some magic stones. I guess we'll find out more about the magic stones later. Then after that, we see a behemoth, right? Rio's calling it a hippo, but Abel's telling us that's a behemoth. And then the behemoth was sleeping, and some wyverns, some dragons, some wyverns pulled up, like a group of 4 of them. So we seen a behemoth defeat a group of wyverns. And Abel saying, man, this is not, every day that humans be seeing these type of monsters and creatures. So we leave the behemoth alone. And we just keep on going on our trip, but because we seen the wyverns pull up, we have a hint that because that's the direction we traveling in, we're gonna have to deal with the wyverns a little bit more. So we continue our journey, and all along the journey, we see this was one of my favorite parts of the episode, because it wasn't the action necessarily, but we see this transition from Rio and Abel being overly polite to each other and being very awkward, not really knowing what to say, not wanting to upset anybody, till they get a little bit more playful in their sarcasm and they're jabbing each other, they're joking on each other. They get a little bit more comfortable as they're making this journey and as they're dealing with attacks, like they're protecting each other. So then a whole griffin pulls up, and for some reason, we don't know much about the griffins, but for some reason, Abel and Rio, they were as strong as they proved themselves to be on this journey. They were frozen in place with the griffin pulled up. So we really just threw like the spare food that we had, and that got the griffin away from us. But then we proceed more, and we see that same griffin was taken down by some wyverns. So we fight more wyverns, but now Abel is confident in Rio's skills, because he said, listen, normally for a wyvern, it takes 20 skilled warriors to be handling those. And even still, they suffer casualties sometimes. But not Abel and Rio. They really handling them on easy mode, family. And so some more wyverns pull up. We handle those. And then it looks like at the end of the episode, we come almost to a close on our journey. It looks like we see just in the horizon LUNE. And so let's see what the town looked like in the next episode. But I liked the development. I liked the world building. I liked the multiple encounters that we came across. It was a very interesting, very entertaining episode. Peace and love, family.